I was just talking to a friend and I wanted to share this message because it just had me well up with tears as thinking about it. You know, it's so interesting how the world tells us what we should want. The world tells us what makes the most sense. And then what's also so apparent is there is a message inside your own soul where there is whatever is next for you. And to have the courage to choose your own truth, regardless of what the world tells you makes the most sense, is so revolutionary, and it's so self-honoring. And I think for me last year, because my dad passed away, you know, when you lose someone close to you, you lose a parent, and you have that moment where you fully recognize life and you fully recognize the gift of it, and you fully recognize also that there is, you know, this part of life which is the death experience and the afterlife of the soul. It's so powerful, it's so riveting that if you're really available for that experience, I think for me what it did is it made me completely unavailable for anything that didn't feel like the truth. And my friend Sarah said to me the other day that there's a season where you're pursuing a relationship with yourself. You get to a place where the relationship you're pursuing is really being in alignment with yourself. And I think that what's so riveting, what's so amazing is that when we have the courage to choose what our divine guidance system is telling us, that is when the synchronicities and the miracles just unfold, because there's a reason that your soul is telling you what it is that makes the most sense for you, regardless. You know, this year I pulled my kids out of school because for so long I would drop them off at school and then pick them up later in the day, and they would be tired and they would have homework, and I would think to myself, what an interesting system that we take the best years with our kids and we just drop them off for somebody else to have this influence on them or to raise them, when I want to spend that time with them. But you know, that's what everyone does, until I realized, but so what? What do I want to do? And what makes the most sense for me? And so that is a huge choice, right? Which feels like so disruptive, and yet it just makes so much sense. This morning, my daughter and I walked to the gym together, and we just came back from a trip, and there's so much well-being in my kids' energy right now. I stayed up with my, older two and watched Dancing with the Stars last night, and it's just like, oh yeah, we get to decide for ourselves. We get to decide for ourselves whatever is for us the truth. So, we're stepping into a mystical portal tonight and tomorrow, and this moment in time really sets the tone for the 12 months to come from here. And the idea that Libra is about the scales, what is that balance about? It's about being in balance. And when you're having a day when everything's in flow, and when you're having a day and everything's just off. The way to have those scales be in balance is to be in alignment, which means you have the courage to choose. However crazy it sounds to someone else, you have the courage to choose for yourself whatever that path is. Years and years ago, my last job, last time I worked for someone else was 2005, 2006. And when I left that job, everybody said that was insane. They're like, you're making good money. Why would you leave that job? It's like, because when you choose yourself, there's nothing that money can buy that feels as good as choosing yourself. And the miracles and the synchronicities and the way I was led to my own divine purpose, because I said yes, the balance of Libra, the scales, the way that we get into that flow, into that rhythm where the synchronicities just meet us, the mystical, the miracles just start unfolding, is when we have the certainty to know that God is giving you that divine GPS. And if you choose to have the certainty that just by choosing your truth, of course the miracle will unfold, that will put you in balance. That will put the world in balance. So I hope that feels juicy and good. And I wish you that. I wish us all that courage to choose what feels like self-honoring, and to know with certainty that the way that God set up this universe is that when we choose that, that is when the miracles that were already in escrow start to show up in our life, and it's what puts everything in balance.